Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I'm going to do 3 videos. I realize that all my videos are really super long because I don't do any editing or anything like that. So I'm just going to try to break them up a little bit, make them a little bit easier to digest. And so, yeah. So the first video I'm going to do is I'm going to talk, I have a list here, kind of a list that I've been working on. For projects that I have, future projects that I have once I finish the bench to share with you guys. The second video is going to be, I still have to sharpen a few of my planes. I got my longer plane done, my number 8. I still have to address my 6 and 7 as far as flattening the bed, so I'm probably not even going to use those. I'm just going to skip right from the 5 to the 8. When I go to flatten this bench top. Hopefully that works out, because if not, then I gotta address the 6 and 7. And I don't know if I want to do that today. It just takes so long, and I want to get to flattening the bench top. So I'm gonna do sharpening. The second video is going to be for sharpening a plane iron, how I do it by hand when I'm trying to get back to work. Last time I did this one, I did it with my Veritas jig, both this one and the number 4 and number 3. So I'm going to do those all by hand. They're already squared up and ready to go. They just need to be touched up, so to speak. So the third video, hopefully I get to it today, is flattening the bench top. Or how I'm going to go about flattening the bench top anyway. I don't know if you'll be here for the... I don't know if I'm going to video, in fact I know I'm not going to video the whole thing because that's going to take a long time. So today's video, or this first video today, I'm going to talk about a few of the projects that I have. And getting into that, I'm a bachelor. I live by myself. So I live a bachelor lifestyle. And right now, both of my beds, my bed and my spare bed, are both on the floor. So the first thing I need to make is a couple of beds. I'm going to make some timber frame beds. I haven't seen any out there myself. There's a few videos online, but they're kind of not really what I'm looking to build, really. So I'm going to build a couple of those, a couple beds. That'll take a while. Maybe I'll build my bed, and then I'll work on some other things, and then move on to the spare bed. So timber frame bed, that's number 1. I don't have a lot of furniture really in my living room or anything like that, so I'm going to be making some furniture, like a timber frame style. Most of the furniture and things that I'm going to do is going to be timber frame style. Not really like log style, but timber frame style. So I'm going to make a coffee table. I'm going to make one end table for the living room. I'm going to make one nightstand for my bedroom. I'll probably end up making a second one when I make the other bed. That'll be coming. I'm going to make a tool caddy, kind of, for my timber framing tools, or when I just want to, because I find myself a lot of times here, especially, I'm kind of stuck inside. So all my major stuff is inside. My bench and everything is inside. But when I want to go outside to do some timber frame work or whatever outside on the sawhorses or whatever, I find myself, because I have to come in here and grab all my tools and take them all out there. So that, and if I want to just run somewhere with, a handful of tools to go help somebody out with something or build something for somebody somewhere else, then I need a tool caddy. So I'm going to make kind of a large style tool caddy. I really like the design that the Samurai Carpenter did, so it'll probably be somewhere in between that one, that style, and the style that Cody did from Wrangler Star. I don't know, I'll throw my own twist on it somehow. I don't believe in making the exact same bench there, or the exact same coffee table, or the exact same chair, or something that I don't like to copy designs. I usually use them as influence, but I always make my own stuff. So that's that. I also plan on trying to tackle, and this is going to be a pretty ambitious project. I think it might turn out to be simple, might turn out to be really hard. I don't know, but I'm gonna make it a stab at making a rocking chair. I love the chair that I have out there. Thanks, Mom. My mom got me a chair that I sit outside in all the time. But I also want to make an old school, like front porch rocking chair. So I'm going to give a stab at that. I have a lot of tools and I have nowhere to put them. So I've kind of tossed around the idea of either making like a cabinet maker's tool chest that I can roll up underneath the, it would fit perfect, roll right up underneath the bench, and I can roll it out and bring my tools out that I'm gonna use that day on the bench. Or build some kind of, and I'd have to get permission, I guess, from the landlord to put holes in the wall. But like a no kidding tool cabinet, right, that has my planes and my spoke shaves and my chisels and my layout tools and all that stuff, like up on the wall. I think that would be easier, more accessible, stuff like that. The only good thing about the tool chest that I would roll under here is it'd be lightweight enough to where I could pick it up and take it with me. Everything would be stashed inside. I'm not like trying to pull everything off of the wall and take it with me type thing. Next thing, chisel handles. I've already spoken about chisel handles. I'm going to be making a nice full set of Osage Orange chisel handles for my Sweetheart chisel set. But I'm also going to be, these are my my Gramercy holdfasts. But I've also got to make, and I'll be kind of trying out a whole bunch of different techniques and whatnot for making handles, different kinds of handles, different shapes and whatnot. So I've got a bunch of chisels, and this is nowhere near all of them, but I've got a bunch like these gouges. I've gotten the gouge on the grinder at work to get, these were in terrible shape. Wow, some of them were in worse shape than others, but they're decent. They're worth saving. I got them pretty cheap on eBay. Some of them have some decent handles. Some of them don't, but they're just different shape gouges, different size gouges. Just some random tools at different angles that I'll grind. I got some larger ones, some slicks, like this guy here. This is an old Stanley I picked up. I don't know what series it is or anything like that. It's just stamped Stanley, made in the USA, but it's a nice big slick. I think it's a 2-inch slick. Yeah, 2-inch slick. So This is going to be. I don't know why who would put a little tiny handle on this. Sucker's going to get a nice long handle. And this will be one of my I can beat up type of timber framing style chisels. And I have a whole bunch of little handles and little chisels, but like this one, this is I don't know why, but somebody laminated a hand. Why would you laminate a handle? It's ridiculous in my book. Why would you do that? Anyways, I have a box full of chisels that need handles, so I'm going to be making a whole bunch of handles and playing around with that. Let's see what else. I'm going to make a few little dovetail boxes and stuff, hand cut dovetails. So that'll be coming down. I'm going to make I like making tools. I like making my own tools. If you haven't figured it out, I made my own winding sticks, which I could use those as a straight edge. But I'll be making a straight edge, also a long one, probably 3-4 foot, with a nice arched back on it. Be kind of thick, probably 3/4 inch thick, maybe even thicker than that. I don't know yet, but just kind of stuff that jogging around in my mind. I made my own mallets. I've made a couple things, but I plan on making the straight edge. I'll get to the tools here in a second. I plan on making some signs, doing some carving. I have some carving tools and some more on the way. The only kind that I've ever found that I like are the file carving files, spelled P-F-E-I-L if you care. But the file chisels they're the shiz. I've got enough of them to where I can do spoon carving, where I can carve letters, signs, do some ornamental work, carve figurines, some chip carving and stuff like that too. So I'll try and incorporate that in. No, I'm just starting out carving. I'm very much a novice at carving. I still have a long way to go and a whole lot to learn when it comes in the area of carving. I am nowhere near good. I mean, everything I do is I try to, I think everything that I do to the best of my ability. So it's not bad, but I just don't have a whole lot of experience. So that'll be growing. That's kind of the enjoyment of this whole thing. I plan on building a clock. I'm going to come up with my own design. I'm not going to take any influence from anybody. I'm going to design my own clock to hang on the wall, and I'll build it. I'll design it and build it, and that's that. I do plan on making some bowls and spoons, all by hand, no lathes or anything like that. I'll probably toy around with making like some tops, little quick spinning tops, and I'm gonna turn a few pins on the lathe, probably just for myself, maybe a few other people. People that that are into like reading and writing and have do a lot of it and that dig that kind of thing. So getting into so those are most of the projects, like straight up projects that I'm like furniture and stuff that I'm going to make. As far as the tools go, I do need to make some tools before I even get started once the bench is finished. I have to make a few tools before before I jump right into making the furniture and stuff like that. Things that are going to help me up my game, so to speak, make things a little more accurate, a little easier to work, things of that nature. And the tools that I'm talking about, some I need, some I don't need, but you'll understand when I get there, right? So I need to make a split top saw bench. Who was that? Billy's Little Workbench, I think is the name of his site. I've watched a lot of his videos. He's into carving too, but he also does a good video on a full split top. No, it's sturdy too. It's a good design. From what I've seen, I haven't messed with one in real life, but I will once I built it. Once it's built. But it looks sturdy. It's a full-on split top saw bench, so you can have it on the ground, put your wood on it, and saw straight through the entire bench, and have support on both sides. It's a great design. So I'm going to be building that. Thanks, Billy. I need to make some bench hooks. I'm going to have a regular wide single bench hook, and then I'm going to have a bench hook style, like the slim, like 2 or 3 inch wide. They're actually hooks. You can YouTube that style of bench hook. Roy Underhill does a video on making some of those. And those are for like long pieces. So like if I wanted to saw something on the bench, I just put 2 hooks onto the side of the bench or onto the end of the bench, and I can put them anywhere I want. One here and one way down here, and it'll hold my piece, a nice long piece, when I'm sawing. So I'm going to make 2 different styles of bench hooks. I'm going to make a shooting board. I can't believe I've gone this long without a shooting board. But I don't have one, and it would be certainly something that makes my work a little more accurate and square, and save a lot of headache in the long run. So I'm going to make a shooting board. I have some saw sharpening jigs that I need to make, just because I have a wide array of saws. I haven't gotten... Some people would say I have too many saws. I just like saws. I have a love affair with saws, so to speak, but I don't have that many of them. I think I have total, if you count every single saw I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... 16. So I have less than 20 saws, but I like saws. I like, you do woodworking with hand tools. You got to cut things in half. So there's lots of different ways to do that. Fine teeth, coarse, fine teeth, coarse teeth. You have rip. You have cross cuts. You have different kinds of tenon saws. You have your short, panel saws, your long full size saw. Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. I have 2, 3, 4, 5 like big boy cross cutting saws, like 6 foot plus. And I'm not going to get them out now, but I have some 3.5 and 4 foot big bucking saws, one man bucking saws that I'll take when I go cut my firewood and stuff, when I go to do that this year. But they need to be sharpened and tuned up. So yeah, I guess I do have over 20 saws. Oh well. What else? I'm gonna make some awesome, and I think Billy has them on his site too. I think it's on his site for sawhorses. If not, who's the other guy that does those or does stuff like that? Can't think of his name. I'll send it out in the next video or something. But I watched a couple videos on some sawhorses, and they're not your typical saw. They're like timber frame style sawhorses, so they're nice and beefy. And I probably will end up making a couple of those little short pony style, a couple sets of those that you can see. Cody from Wrangler Star makes them, or has videos of making those. Samurai Carpenter has made a few. They're just real quick, easy ponies for sitting down or holding your timber framing style materials, large stuff, holding it up off the ground so you can saw it and join it and all that kind of stuff. I plan on making a bow saw, my own bow saw. I plan on making quite a few more mallets, different styles. I have my mallet that I made. Well, I've made a couple of mallets, but I've already showed it before. Just a mahogany and maple mallet, and I've made a few different kinds, big log building style mallets and whatnot. But I got some Osage orange. I'll go ahead and show them. So this is my mallet, the one that I made. It's a straight up two-piece, tapered handle, tapered mortise, and it just slides in two-piece, and bam, there you go. Made the head out of some maple firewood. It's got a really awesome design, kind of came out on it. But like I said in my other video, it does have the pith in it. So we'll see. I beat the hell out of this thing, and it hasn't split, cracked, or showed any signs of it. So I guess I chose a good section of wood. And this thing is just so beautiful. It's great for little stuff, but it's not a full-size joiner's mallet. I do have some Osage orange here. So if you can imagine a full-sized head, which will be about that, so if you go to the bottom, it's almost, it's close to twice as big. It'll be down to where my finger is, and that's a full-size mallet. And Osage orange is about one of the best woods that you can get for mallet making. At least the heads will be made out of Osage. And which brings me to my next one, something that Osage orange is used for quite a lot, almost exclusively. It's well known as the best material for this, and it's another daunting, challenging, very ambitious project, and it's probably not going to happen anytime in the very near future. I need to do a lot of homework before I start this one. Is trying my hand as a bowyer, and making a handmade bow, like archery bow. There's many different styles out there, so I got to choose a couple styles. I'll probably end up making a few bows, but that takes a long time. From start to finish on a good quality bow, I think you're talking like 6 months to a year, something like that. Because you have to, like, the sinew that put on the on the bow, like, takes a long time to cure and dry and stuff like that, and you have to shape it just right, and all the proportions have to be right, and you got to have reflection and deflection in all the right spots, and all that kind of good stuff. So that's pretty ambitious, but you know, the greatest bowyer in the world started off at one point with his very first bow. So never know, maybe I'll be the next guy that's like the world-renowned bowyer, who can't even say bowyer. Maybe I'll be that old, crusty, white bearded dude that's like 80 years old in his shack building bows that sell for like $5 a piece. Never know. Guys got to make a living somehow. Why not make your passion a living, or sell your passion, so to speak? And one last thing that I wanted to share with you as far as the bench. I did make the decision. I'm going to put, I don't even know what you'd call it, the opposite, I guess, of quarter round. It'll be a piece of quarter stock, but that has a concave in it, vice a convex, like quarter round. But I'm going to put those into the corners of my tool well, and I plan on doing, and I wish I would have made this decision beforehand, but I'm going to do some hand cut dovetail end caps for the workbench. That way, it'll be kind of one of the finishing touches for the bench. It'll close it off and keep everything inside the tool well. That'll be interesting, because I'm basically going to end up, because those are going to be like 1.5 to maybe 2 inch wide end caps, and I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be doing end caps. Probably have like two fat dovetails, and I'll have to basically end up cutting a ton of my, I'll be cutting whatever the width is. So if I do 2 inch end caps, I have to cut 2 inches off of the inside of my bench, so that off the ends of the bench tops, to be able to dovetail it into the aprons. That'll kind of join the two halves together as well, and it'll be straight push down, no glue, no nothing. So that way I can just pop it off, and I can pop it off and empty the dust out, or I can pop it off when I have to pop both of them off when I have to move the bench or whatever. So I don't know, I'll figure something out with that. I'm a pretty smart guy, so I'll figure out a good way to keep that usable, functional, but not like get loose every time I pop it out. I don't know, wedges, pegs, some kind of system to hold it together. I don't know, I haven't figured that part out yet. But so that's it for this video. Some upcoming stuff. I've decided I'm not going to get into the whole editing and really nice video, buying all the nice cameras and the nice audio and all of that stuff until I know that this YouTube channel is going to be a thing, right? So I figured, okay, I'm going to be retiring in 2 years, and I'll have more than enough time to dedicate to learning how to edit and learning the ins and outs of video and audio, and doing a good edit. I don't want to half-ass an edit. I want to make good quality videos. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So, with that being said, um, I'm gonna wait until after I retire, and that way I'll know I'll have my budget set aside for my equipment, and B, I will know whether or not this is a legit thing. Like, people are gonna actually be following me or whatever and learning from me, and I'll be able to do whatever. I mean, if I go big and go, like, I say big. I'm not gonna go professional or anything, but if I get it to where I've got a good production going, so to speak, then I don't know, maybe I'll try and monetize it. I don't know. Right now I'm just having fun with it. Again, that's why it sucks. These videos are long, no editing, no nothing, but I'm just sharing what I'm doing. So that's that, and I guess I'm gonna load this video and set up for some hand sharpening of the hand plane irons. So I'll see you soon. Friends and family, I love you. Everybody else, see you in a few minutes.